She said, baby, why you so low-key? Never seen you up in these streets. She a baddie running game on me. So they be really working OT. You're tryna get to know me, but I don't wanna budge, no. I can tell that she a freak, it's a freak that she wants, so you know the vibes, it's mine, no time for solos. You already know, when I pull up on the curbs, you know we have to keep it gangsta for true. You told your cousin I'm a dub, then you looked me in my eyes and said, you're mine, oh. You're mine, oh. Fuck these other bitches, are you dumb? For real, see, I know you wanna. What is this? Witness this. You didn't turn you on, now she wanna get it on. She a freak in the sheets, ain't nobody here for creep. So I don't mind if you wanna spend some time. Whoa. She know we have to keep it gangsta for true. You told your girl that I'm a dub, then you look me in my eyes and said, you're mine, you are mine, oh. You're mine, you are mine, oh. The fuck these other bitches, are you dumb? That's why that you're a freak. You've been a freak of the week, but you're still a lady in the streets. But I know you a freak. You've been a freak like me, but I just want some more. You told your friends that I'm a dub, then you looked them in the eyes and said, he's just a vibe, he's that guy, but he made me shy and cry. I wonder why. Oh Lord, she's a freak. You've been a freak of the week, but you're still a lady in these streets. But I know you a freak. You've been a freak like me, but I just want some more. You told your friends that I'm a dub, then you looked them in the eyes and said, he's just a vibe, he's that guy, but he made me shy and cry. I wonder why. Oh Lord, she's a. She said, baby, why you so.
That's killed it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. But Klopp doesn't change the system. Since move back left. You don't want to change from the
4-3. Boom. What's going on, people? Welcome back again to the Jerry James Show with myself, JJ, as always, bringing you that transfer news. I told you guys I'm going to be consistent. I'm out here. I'm delivering that content. So big up to everyone that's been onto my neck. I forgot who it was. One of the OG man that are in the comments already, but big up. As always, please make sure we're smashing the like. That's all I ask for you when I get in front of the screen, as Kyle likes to say. And yeah, please, if you're new to the channel as well, please subscribe to the channel. We're looking and we're pushing for that 1 million subscriber mark, man. So we're pushing for that. So big up to everyone in the building. Let me put my charger. Let me put my cable in before a shambles occurs. And you know, with me, like, there's always something going on. There's always something when it comes to technology. But there we go. We're all good, man. Big up to everyone in the building. And yeah, a lot of news to talk about, man. A lot of news to talk about. We're going to split this one today, people. So later on at 5 p.m., we're going to talk about the preseason game. So, you know, a lot of your comments, a lot of your questions that you might have in regards to the preseason game, couple new players, new faces that we were able to go and see. We're going to hold off that, and we're going to speak about that later, and that's going to be at 5 p.m. people. The link's already in the channel, so please head over there and smash the like on that. What we're discussing today, though, is the transfers, because there's a lot of rumors flying about now. Obviously, Henderson, as we're aware, did not travel with the squad to face Karlsruhe SC. And yeah, looks like the skipper's gone, man. Undisclosed fee, apparently, but we're looking at a 12 million, looking around the fee around the 12 million pound mark. So look, interesting times, man. Interesting times. We never would have thought a skipper would go in this fashion. But hey, this is Liverpool, man. But I need to get into the comments, man. I know a lot of you guys in the building, a lot of you are here ready to chop this up with me. We got K-Mac in the building. Big up to K-Mac. We got Honesty in the building. We got Andy Renari. Big up to Alexander Lost. What's going on? Redbird, Jude Jellingham as well. Big up to yourself. We got Mr. Brooks. All right, I see Mr. Brooks on a long time. Big up to Mr. Brooks. We got Trudon in the building. Trudon's changed up. What? Not on loan anymore. I hear you. We got Marianne. Big up. Long time no see. We got Glasgow Reds TV. Big up to Glasgow Reds. Make sure we're heading over there and subscribing to John Moore and the rest of the gang. We got Captain Sal in the building. We got Bayesian Red TV. Big up to Bayesian up in the building. Yeah, that's it. So guys, make sure we are smashing it up. But we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into it. Boy, the first thing we're actually gonna do, to be fair, is we're gonna read a little short passage from Chris Bascom. And a lot of you guys would recall. Oh, let me make sure I can actually get this up for you guys. Recall Chris Bascom, Liverpool reporter. Yeah, it's looking interesting, man. It's looking interesting. This excerpt, I had to make sure I plugged everyone because it's interesting, and I want to base today's show on this excerpt. So yeah, man, let's get into it. Let me upload that for you guys. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, man, because guys, I'm not gonna lie, if I'm being honest, I don't even know who do we bring in, man? Who do we bring in? That's the biggest question, of course. But we need to read this up first. We got to read this 100%, man. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Getting it uploaded. There we go. Can you guys see that? Let me know. If you can't, I'm going to read it out anyway. I'm going to remove the banner for you guys. Apologies if anyone can't read it, see this. Hopefully you're listening in, and you listen to me usually. So, yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead. Ain't going to be able to see my face, but I'm going to have to read this for you guys. This is an analysis by Chris Bascom. I mean, the heading being folly of extending Henderson's contract in 2021 has come back to bite Liverpool. He starts off by saying, look, it has taken 2 years and an intervention from Saudi Arabia, but Jordan Henderson and Liverpool finally appear to be on the same page. Extending his Liverpool contract in 2021 was a serious and damaging mistake. When Henderson had 2 years left on his previous deal and talks were at an impasse, the club's American owner, Fenway Sports Group, guided by the analyst team led by ex-director of football Michael Edwards, were initially reluctant to veer away from their successful Moneyball policy and forensically accounting for every cent and looking years rather than a season ahead. The logic of handing a 31-year-old pay rise to 200,000 a week until 2025 was strenuously argued about internally and externally, given all the data suggesting he would become less productive during the course of his 4-year term. The same was then meant Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane, in identical situations as the skipper, would not get a renewal, interestingly enough. Going back to when Steven Gerrard was allowed to leave for LA Galaxy in 2015 rather than extend terms, romance surrendered to reason. Feeling undervalued, Henderson gambled, threatening to quit Anfield, with Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid among those said to be monitoring talks. It paid off after a critical intervention from Klopp. "We will sort it out, no doubt about that," Klopp said. 2 days later, a deal was struck. Liverpool took pride at their success, being a consequence of steadfastly sticking to the plan, had made an exception. Boy. Yeah, gonna have to let that marinate. But boy, let me know what you guys are saying about that, man. Because for me, that screams mistake all over the gaff. Not only mistake, Klopp, man. We had Michael Edwards, arguably one of our best, the best things to happen to the club alongside Klopp. I think let's not get it twisted. I think his ability to go and navigate deals, get the right deals, the right sales, the money ball, it was working. I mean, we had success with this money ball tactic. To do what we've done with Henderson, it is crazy. And big up to Guy Richards, that's exactly what it is. Damning words. And we're talking about Chris Bascom, who's an avid kind of Liverpool, pro-Liverpool type of, reporter. So it's interesting, man. But guys, I know you guys are chopping it up with me, and I need you guys to chop it up with me. But guess what? We got Ram in the building. Boom, boom, boom. We got Ram. I can see him wearing that Bayern Munich top.
That's not Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I know
you've
training Adidas top.
You've taped up the badge. I hear you. I know you're first love, man. We hear you, man. Big up to Ram, man. Thanks for hopping on. Chat to me, Ram, man. I don't know if you heard any of the words that I just relayed in regards to Chris Bascom's kind of paragraph on Henderson, man. I sent it to you via WhatsApp, to be fair. So have a look at that. Have a read through it whilst I'm checking. Oh, you heard? I had
read through it.
Oh, okay, cool.
It is what it is. It's damning. It's very damning. It's not only damning, but damaging to the football club. The fact that we have a specific model that we want to run, and we allowed things like this to happen. And it's not only Henderson, it's the likes of Naby Keita, the Oxlade-Chamberlains, and the James Milners. The fact that we didn't resell, I would have expected not to resell James Milner because of his age, but the fact that we didn't resell Naby Keita for at least 10 or 15 million pounds, or Oxlade-Chamberlain for 10, 15 million pounds to any Premier League team, it is a disgrace, in my opinion, for a club that is so hell bent on Moneyball, resell, trying to make as much money so we could reinvest it into the other players. It's a disgrace, in my honest opinion. Allowing stuff like this to happen is I don't know what to say. And look, some of the blame does go with Jurgen Klopp, but it's also, there's a part of me that's like, the likes of Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't think he wanted them to stay. I think he wanted them to leave. But the fact of the club, I don't think the club did a good enough job in getting a good price for them to leave, given the fact that they both had a decent season. Maybe not so Ox, but Naby had a good season last season, especially in the back end of the season. We saw him against Manchester City. We saw him against Chelsea in the FA Cup finals and semi-final, respectively. A lot of people are blamed for this. And it showed that the running of the club in the last couple of years, because we won the Premier League and the Champions League, we just took a foot off the gas. And no, when you want to try and keep on competing, you've got to be switched on every single season going by. So that's what I take from it, man. It's a disgrace.
My worry is, the thing is, look, I don't blame Henderson for even the argument, that he tried to maneuver, engineer move to Atletico Madrid or threaten to leave. because ultimately you want to play football as a footballer. I know there's this whole notion of, players staying at the club and, just wanting to just be a part of the whole setup. I understand that. But Gerrard was in a very similar predicament and he threatened to leave and he did. He went to LA Galaxy. Now, he could have decided to go somewhere else. There probably would have been a lot of suitors for him, but he was a bit older. Injuries hampered him a lot. And he probably thought that was a good move for him, but he did move as well. He wasn't pushed out of the club. It wasn't anything like that. It was a very similar situation. So I don't have any qualms with Henderson in that regard. And I know a lot of people do, and we're going to get into it. But for the club to offer him an extension to his contract, right? Knowing that that's not what they do. Your director of football, and Michael Edwards, being adamantly against it, resulting in him actually leaving his post. That screams to me Klopp. That screams to me Klopp going to, do you know what I mean, the higher ups and telling them, yeah, actually, I need you to veto this. Because technically in the pyramid scheme, I know they work together, but Michael Edwards was above Jurgen Klopp. Michael Edwards, unfortunately, when it comes to transfers and signing, it was Michael Edwards that done everything. You're getting an extension, you're not getting an extension, because they looked at the data provided. We're looking at this now. They decided to, like Gini Wijnaldum, available fit for every game. They didn't budge on that one. They didn't budge on Mane. They didn't budge on Bobby. I guarantee you they haven't even budged on Fabinho. I guarantee you. The reason why Fabinho's even entertaining a move is because a contract extension he was told, I'm not getting a contract extension for my next contract. That's why. So for me, yeah, it's damning and it's worrying, and it puts us in a situation now. In 2 seconds, I'm just gonna invite someone else, and I'm just gonna come off the screen for a second, Ram. But and you can just read through the comments. That's actually 2 seconds. But the question is now, and I want everyone in the comments as well to be helping Ram out. Who do we bring in? Like, who are we bringing in now? Because Klopp wanted all his players in before the first game of pre-season. Lo and behold.
Do you think it's down to the model of our structure, of the way we run our business?
It is, and I think from the club's perspective, this is poor. But I don't think they expected either both Henderson and Fabinho to leave. I don't think they expected any of these players to leave, because I think they expected they had accounted for Henderson taking up a certain amount of minutes in a season, Fabinho taking out a certain amount. So even if Henderson was going to get a reduced role, they still expected him to be in the squad. Yeah. Now that he's not there, now that Fabinho's not there, I think it's thrown a spanner in the works. And unfortunately, the way Liverpool are, like we're saying 50 million for Diaz, no, at the moment. If Saudi Arabia come back with 65, in my opinion, Liverpool sell. Because they're making money on an asset that they just bought. And that's the way the model is.
Is it the right move though, JJ?
Time will tell, man. I don't know.
It's no.
2 seconds, man. But time will tell, bro. Time will tell.
For me, right, with the whole Diaz thing, absolutely not. I mean, you think about the money what we're getting and the value that the guy still has, in my opinion, and you compare it to the amount of players that there are, the players that are around across Europe or even in the Premier League, I'll still say it. Luis Diaz, for me, is top 5 left wingers in the Premier League. He is top 5. And if he's top 5 left wingers in the Premier League, then in world football, it would probably be top 15 minimum. And we're getting around about 50 to 60 million pounds for him. That's not good enough for me. It's not. And seeing as though he's in his prime years, we can get minimum 80 million pounds. The market's gone crazy right now. And we're going to be selling players like Luis Diaz for such little money. It is ridiculous, in my opinion. I can't fathom that. Or I can't see it happening. We need to find somebody who is able to be as good as Luis Diaz whilst also having the experience that he has. I'm granted, yeah, Luis Diaz hasn't had, in terms of like Champions League and all that, he's played quite a few, but not as many as a top player like a Mo Salah. But finding a quality like Luis Diaz for relatively low amount of money is very, very difficult. And having to sell a player like him for minimal money is what are we doing? It feels as though we're just going to be moving backwards. And look, I've stood by Klopp for what he's done. I stood by, even when people were saying that he should have left last season, I still stood by him. But I can't get over the fact that he is partly to blame for all of this. I said this before, sentiment can work if you have an owner or an investor that is willing to invest consistently. And the way our club is run, we can't do that. It has to be continuously changing. We have to continuously change the people that we need to bring in. Sell them, buy them low, sell them big, then buy them low again, and then sell them for big money. That's how it is. And that's how we are run. And then if we're looking at the CDM position that we're looking at right now, we've got Lavia, incredibly talented player, but he can't do it on his own. Then you got Crystal Palace, who's asking 70 to 80 million pounds for Czech Decore. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. A player who hasn't played much football in the professional football at the highest level for 70 to 80 million pounds. It's a ridiculous amount of money. And how much we're getting for Fabinho and Hendo? 50 to 55 million pounds. Nah, man, we've got to be smart about this. And that's my main worry. Because we're so desperate, are we going to be smart?
I mean, we're saying that, right? And I hear, like, you're saying what, Diaz is top 5, did you say, in the Prem?
In the Prem, yeah.
All right. Let's look at this, right? So currently, Mahrez hasn't left yet, right?
Left wingers.
Left. Oh, sorry, left. Okay. Grealish, is he better than him? I think you got to say yes.
Yeah. Grealish, Martinelli, Rashford.
Okay, Grealish,
Those are the
Martinelli, Rashford. That's fine. Son.
They're about the same.
Nah, Ram, come on. One season of Son not performing, right? Which was last season. He's been solid after that. I think Son's better than him, but
then I could say Martinelli be lower than him because he just had one season. Then.
Yeah, but Diaz hasn't even had a full season. He hasn't even had a full season. That's the problem. He came in, he played half a season and then got injured.
All right, fine.
So Martinelli ahead of him. Do you know the level I put Diaz on? And I'm not going to lie to you. And bear in mind, this is like a player that I like. People know my Colombian connections and that. Mrs. laughing in do you know what I mean? Laughing in the room.
Oh, no, okay.
Mitoma.
No, JJ, no.
They're very similar level of player, Ram.
No.
Ram, think about it. Are you trying to tell me that there's a massive difference between Diaz and Mitoma? If Mitoma was playing in the Portuguese league, I don't see it.
Mitoma hasn't played European football at the highest level.
No, he hasn't. But he's played in the best league in the world at a younger age and earlier than Luis Diaz was able to.
But Luis Diaz was playing Champions League football by the age of 21, 22.
No, he what? Well, actually, maybe so. But he was playing against like Vitória and teams like that in Portugal. Exactly. You don't even know what team that is.
No, I know who Vitória is. Don't do that. But I'd argue this. Luis Diaz was playing for one of the biggest clubs in Portugal. Who's Mitoma playing for? Different levels of pressure.
That's true.
Like, JJ, I love you, bro, but what that Mitoma one's really got me. Like, no way.
Look, today's Colombia's independence. Yeah, I'm getting grilled right now. Oh, Zaha,
rightly so.
Hold on. Zaha, would you say Zaha's ahead of?
No. What are we doing here? I'm gonna be calm right now. What are we doing here? Zaha. The only thing I like about Zaha is his chant. The chant.
Hold on. I want to know, right? Just who thinks So what? You're saying Luis Diaz is top 3 then, top 4. You're saying 4th in the Prem. Because I only said 4.
I said top 5.
Yeah, so mine were Saka, Martinelli, Rashford.
Saka in the left winger.
No, sorry, Martinelli, Rashford, Grealish, Heung-min Son. Would you say Foden, when Foden plays out there, is Foden better?
No.
Really?
No.
Really?
No. I'm going to still say no.
All right. Is Abu Dhabi, that's rumoured to be going to Aston Villa, is he better than Luis Diaz?
Musa Diaby. No.
Musa Diaby, sorry.
No. No, he's not. Don't do that. The only thing he's very good at, he has a quick change of pace. That's it. And he's quite skillful. That's the only thing he's better than Luis Diaz at. Don't give me that face. I'm being serious. And plus he's a... Bro,
I'm knocked out. I'm knocked out, Ram.
I'm doing that to you.
But maybe Mr. Mac, Mr. K Mac can help us out. And right now it's 1-1. I've been dropped this round. How is Luis Diaz? You're on mute, by the way, mate. You need to click. Yeah, it's the click.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Big up to yourself.
Big up. Okay, who plays on the left wing? Does Anthony play on the left wing?
No.
Okay. Well, there's not a huge amount of left wingers, is there? Sincera? Does Sincera play on the left wing?
Sincera, yeah.
Yeah, he's talented, but no.
Somerville?
He does.
Well, looking at the look, guys. I'm looking at assists and goals, and these guys are pretty much similar. Like, I love Lucio. Okay, I think Lucio's great, but I think Lucio's lost a lot. 20% of Lucio has gone for me, and it's probably due to injury and just being trained by Klopp, because that street ball has kind of gone out of him. Harvey Barnes, there you go.
No.
Harvey Barnes.
No.
Sorry. 13 goals last season, Harvey Barnes?
No, I'm sorry, but Harvey Barnes is so predictable. That's why he wasn't as good as what he was before.
Look, the thing about Lucio for me, okay, and this is what people aren't talking about. He's on the same amount of wages as Shimikas. Let's just get this straight. He's on the same amount as Shimikas and Elliott. If they turn around and offer him 80% more wages, he's gone. I'm sorry. He's a South American. They come from poor backgrounds. They want to look after their families. They play in these countries. It's not an issue. Guys, if we can double the money and get like 75, 80 million, it's brilliant business.
That's not enough for me.
Is that how good you think Lucho can be, Luis Diaz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get that clinical edge inside of him. He's going to be a problem for everybody.
No, I agree. My worry is, can you recover from that injury that he had? Because since that injury, he has not looked the same, and it's understandably so. I'm not taking anything away from him at all. I'm not saying we should sell him. But by the way, I'm not an advocate to sell him. I'm saying if a ludicrous offer comes in for him, I think Liverpool sell.
But our definition of ludicrous offer is very different, though.
Double what you bought him for.
How much did we buy him for? We bought him for 55 million.
Was it 55?
It wasn't 55 million, was it?
It was a lot of money.
Let me have a look. I thought it was like 40.
I reckon we probably only paid a third of that off as well, by the way, because we probably got all kinds of payment terms.
No, 37 million. 37.
And everyone seems to be talking about like he plays elite football in Portugal. No, he doesn't. We go over there and batter them 5-0 every single time. Their top team, we go over and batter them 5-0. Like, they're not elite teams in Portugal. They're not. Like, every now and again, they have a team that gets to maybe the knockout round, but that's it. That's it. Like, not since Jose Mourinho left, the Portuguese team's been elite for me.
Yeah, I've just seen Ram on Sky Sports. It's 37 million we signed them for.
And we probably only paid about 15 of that off, by the way.
So Ram, 37 million. And imagine you invested £37 into something, or someone said to you, a year later, I'll buy that off you, used and injured, right? For 70, 80 million. I think you bite your hands off. You bite your hand off that deal. And I'm not saying we should. I'm not saying that would be necessarily the best thing to do, because then you've got the argument of who else comes into that. Who else do you buy? How much do you pay for them? There's that issue, of course. But that is a good deal financially. And if we're looking at Liverpool do the business financially. And obviously, I heard you talking about before when I came off. Is that the right route to go down? I mean, is this model the correct way? That's a different argument. With the model that's currently in place, you're a smart man, Ram. 37 million, someone offers you 70, as an example, hypothetically. Do you take it on?
I'll use the analogy. It's like selling all your money for Bitcoin in 2016 before it got boosted. It could be that scenario. It could be that we sell him for 70, but if we wait a year and he has an amazing season, we could sell him for 120. Because let's be honest, Luis Diaz is still a very young. He's 26. He's literally hit his prime years right now. We could get even higher for him. If you get what I mean.
It's early.
Can I be devil's advocate? Okay, so we look at Luis Diaz, yeah? Came to us, was on fire. Okay. Started the next season pretty well. Got a bad injury. Came back. Looks terrible now. Okay. Like, it's going to take a long time for him to get back into it, I think. Right. We've now got a player that's on low wages, yeah, that we might be able to get double the money for, yeah, at a time when we need reinforcements in different areas. My question is, has Luis Diaz got the fight to keep that left-sided position? Because you've got Gakpo, you've got Curtis Jones, because Curtis Jones is now fighting for his position. You've got Nunes can play there. Harvey Elliott played there. Jota can play there. We are completely stacked on that side of the pitch. And for me, even Sabolsai plays there, by the way, for Hungary in his international team. So we're completely stacked on that side. If we can get 60, 70 million to then buy that DM that we need, or even 80, 90 million, because we're going to add the money that we get from Fabinho, what would you rather have? Would you rather sell Lucio and buy Caicedo? That's the question. Or sell Lucio and have the money to prize Tchouaméni from Real Madrid, or Valverde from Real Madrid? That's the question. And for me, I don't think you need to answer that, because the answer is yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't. Because I tell you this, how many of those players that you mentioned are specialist left wingers? Because the best, I guarantee you, all of them are makeshift left wingers. I wouldn't say they're fully left wingers, because people say Diogo Jota. Jota is a striker for me. His best position is a striker. He is one of the most clinical players in our team. Best finishers in our team. I want him up top, if that's the case.
So where does Gakpo and Nunes fit then?
Different games.
You have to move Gakpo over to the left then, or Nunes over to the left. We can't have three really, really good strikers and only play one of them every now and then. You know, look, at the end of the day, I don't even think Lucio is a right winger. Is a left winger. I think he's more of a left midfielder. I think he comes from deeper and he's more effective than having him too high up, because he always passes the ball back, because he hasn't got that ability to get around players. Like he teeters on the edge of the box and then cuts in and has that shot that goes in the top bin normally. That's kind of his ammo, and that really works well with him. But for me, like, you know, if we haven't got the money, which a lot of journos are saying we need to sell to buy, we've just got 40, 50 million for a couple of players. We need midfielders. And if the midfielders are going to cost the really, really good ones, are going to cost like 80, 70, 80 million. Then we might need to sell Lucio, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to sell Jota because Jota's got goals and he proved yesterday. Like, you know, we had like 3 chances in the game, scored 2 goals. You know, for me, first off, I didn't think Lucio was that good. Like, if I'm honest, like he looked off the pace. He looked like he was running in blind alleys. He looked like he couldn't get past players. And this is against like a 3rd division German team. You know, if we can get double the money, I'm sorry, but you have to really consider that. And I think the board are at a stage now where they're vetoing Klopp. So Klopp might want to keep Milner. Klopp might want to keep Fabinho. But the board are like, no, that's not happening. Like, we're selling these guys. You know, they're at an age where we can make money. And if someone comes in and offers double, then we're probably going to take it. And if you look at the team as well, they bought Savic and they bought Nunes, and they were players that were 26, 27. So they're going after those type of players and they're getting those players. So I'm just saying, like, don't expect the unexpected for me.
Yeah. Like, me personally, look, I don't think Liverpool do sell because I don't think they'll offer more than that money. I was just putting it out there hypothetically, if they were to go and put in a 70, 80 million pound bid, do Liverpool buy it? And I think they would, because I say that to say this. When we look at the midfield situation, that's what we've done with Fabinho. Fabinho was unsellable, untouchable earlier in the summer. Those are what the reporters were saying. All of a sudden, a bid comes in that Liverpool look at and go, oh, actually, 40 million. Yeah, we'll take that. Even in a situation where there is a rebuild and we've let go of 3 midfielders, brought in 2 new ones, looking like we're going to get rid of a 4th and a 5th, and we're still waiting on the 3rd midfielder to come in. It is desperate times, man. It is desperate times. The question I've got, right, and like, speaking of midfielders now, I'm going back to Henderson, and I'll chuck this at you guys. Has Henderson, and Melissa Reddy kind of put this out there on Sky Sports today, has Henderson tarnished his legacy by leaving Liverpool Football Club? I'll chuck this at Ram first.
No, absolutely not. How, in what way has he tarnished his legacy? Is it the case of he didn't feel as though he was going to get any more game time and he wanted to leave? Simple as that. I think it was best that he left. I think the more he stayed, the more he was tarnishing his legacy. I think it's a lot of PR that's going on about around Henderson. I'm going to use this old saying. I said this to JJ, man. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And that's what's happening with Endo. Right now, he's left and he leaves as a legend. If he kept on staying, he would have been a detriment to this team, because he would have took up minutes that another player has. He would have taken up a space where we should have got someone a lot younger who has a lot more potential than him. He doesn't go out as a person that tarnishes legacy. Absolutely not. He still was one of our most successful captains. And he leaves Liverpool as one of our most successful captains. That's all that's got to be said. Anyone that says he's tarnished his legacy is absolutely deluding themselves or drinking off that PR Kool-Aid that they really love drinking off. Because funny enough, JJ, the people that wanted Henderson out are all the ones that are saying that he has not tarnished his legacy. Make it make sense.
Chris?
No, he hasn't tarnished his legacy. Guy's an absolute legend for me. Look, at the end of the day, I think over the last couple of years, it's probably Klopp that kind of made him a bit of a scapegoat for the fans, because he just kept on playing him when he shouldn't have. That's not Henderson's fault. He's a captain. He's a committed player. He's always going to give 100%, whether he can do it or not. For me, I think he was a better captain than Gerrard, and I don't care what anyone says. Like, I think he was a better captain than Gerrard.
I agree.
Not a better player, but a better captain. I think he's been absolutely fantastic for a number of years. I think he's been fantastic in the community as well, and for all of the charities and all of the things that he's done behind the scenes. And good on him for getting his MBE as well. He's been brilliant for England. At the end of the day, if you're talking about people that tarnish the legacy, then just look at Michael Owen. Because the guy signed for Man United, all right, to get a trophy. So, Henderson's fantastic for me. I've slated him for his performances, and rightly so. Everyone's critical. If you're playing crap, you're playing crap. But if he wants to go and, have the last couple of his years in and 50% more than he got at Liverpool, then fair play to him.
And people that have a problem with him earning that money, give your head a wobble. That is life-changing money right there. That is money that, if we all had a job offer at Saudi Arabia or Dubai, I guarantee you, myself, JJ, or K-Mat would not think twice. We're taking a flight straight to Dubai or Saudi Arabia, because that is money that could last generations. Not talking about his kids, maybe his grandkids. I could go even further, his great grandkids. That is life-changing money. And one thing I would say, and I've been consistent about it, do not ever knock a man for making sure he provides bread for his family. Never ever knock a man for that, because the one thing that we all have to do is provide for our family, and that was his sole purpose, providing for his family. You ask him, his family is the most important thing. People say LFC and all that kind of stuff. No, his family is number one, and that money will provide for his family for a very, very long time. And you don't hear the stories of footballers that become bankrupt after finishing their careers in England or in Germany or places like that. Heck, Boris Becker was one of the most richest people after retiring from tennis. And look what happened. He had to file for bankruptcy. Like, never, ever, ever knock a man for doing something that will provide for his family.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. The question is now, man, because before this is going to be a short one, we've got another stream coming at 5 again to chop up the game yesterday's game. I really want to chat about some of the players we got to see, some new faces, etc. Who's for you then, Chris, is the guy that comes in and replaces Henderson or takes Henderson's minutes? We knew that Henderson was going to get a reduced role. Are Liverpool now going to go into the market to get a starter? Or are Liverpool looking in the market to go and get someone that's just going to be a filler? And the starters are already established, because Henderson was always going to have reduced minutes, as Klopp kind of stated.
Sorry, someone's just wrote Jordan Henderson is now Jalal Henderson.
Sorry for that one.
I think we've already got the player to replace Henderson in Dominic Szoboszlai. I think he's the guy to replace him. But the guy that we need to replace Fabinho is the one which is the most important role. And even just looking at the game yesterday, you can see how important that role is going to be. I think Dominic Szoboszlai is that guy. I also feel that maybe the likes of Curtis Jones can do some minutes as well in that position. There's no reason why he can't play on the left and the right. I think we're pretty much covered in that position for Hendo. It's the Fabinho one which we need a body in to do that job.
Ram?
I say it before. Lavia, it feels as though is the guy that we're looking at, and I'll be very, very happy to get him in. I just need another player next to him, man. I can't rely on Lavia. It's like, I use the analogy. It's like telling a kid to swim in the deep end without a lifeguard available. Cool. If he swims, it's cool. If he sinks, what do we do? Like, what did we do? There's no lifeguard available. It's not going to look good. As the old saying, it's not going to look good, bro. You're not looking good, bro. So I'm cool with Lavia being a replacement for Henderson. However, we still need someone to help out Lavia whenever he goes through a bad patch, because it's going to happen. It will happen. He's a kid. I've not known a DM in the history of football that's a kid that has played consistently for an entire season. People say Sergio Busquets. However, Sergio Busquets had Xavi and Iniesta right next to him. Two players that are the highest level, arguably the GOATs of football, that would help him out. And he played to a system where it was so centered around possession and that he was more or less being played under since the age of 6 or 7, that it was almost natural to him. We need another person next to Lavia, man, because the guy can't do it on his own. And do you know who will suffer? Lavia.
So are we saying then we're actually in the market for two defensive mids as opposed to one defensive mid and an 8? Because originally, if Fabinho weren't leaving, the whole argument was that Liverpool were still needed to go and get a Thuram on top of McAllister and Szoboszlai, or get a Kone on top of Szoboszlai. Do you think that's changed now? Do you think we've had to pivot and now we need 2 DMs?
I think it's now become a situation where we might use Gakpo as an 8. And that's why we say we get a DM alongside Lavia, because we can use Gakpo as an 8 if the last resort.
We are not getting Lavia, by the way. There's no way we're going for Lavia. Sorry. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me why we'd spend 50 million on a project. I think the guy we're going for is Florentino Luis. I am 80% sure this is the guy. Melissa Reddy has already said. Melissa Reddy's already said that that we're looking at Florentino Luis, and she's the only person that's kind of brought his name up. And she brought his name up with all the other clag, all the other usual suspects like Phillips and Gravenberch and Amrabat. I think Florentino Luis is the one. If you watch my show from yesterday, I did a stats bomb of him. He is a Fabinho 2018-2020 regen. He is unbelievable. His stats are off the scale. Everything that Fabinho was in his prime for us when we won everything, Florentino Luis does exactly the same, and he's only 23. We go for him. If we're not going for him, Man City are next year. Honestly, he's that good.
The only problem I see with Luis is Benfica. Benfica is going to ask for stupid money for him.
They got stupid money for Nunes,
and they won't stop.
They won't. I don't mind. I don't mind a club that we know that will sell. They will sell anybody. It doesn't matter.
Anyone will for the right price, though. Do you think he's worth 70 million?
Yeah. Honestly, wow. This guy is incredible, mate. This guy's been on loan in Spain, not last year, the year before. So he was on loan at Getafe, and he was brilliant. So he's already done a Spanish football.
I heard he was
at loan at Monaco.
I heard he was poor at both those places. I heard he was poor at Monaco, poor at Getafe, and he's only really come to the fore again for Benfica.
Well, that makes sense.
That worries me, though. We just spoke about the Portuguese league and Luis Diaz. Well, that's the argument we use.
I looked at the stats since he's been playing. Not like the last year, since he's been playing. And they're incredible. They are incredible. I mean, do you want me to bring the stats bomb up now? I can show you if you want.
Yeah, go on.
Are you sure? Okay, 2 secs. I'm just going to switch my camera mic off while I find it.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go through some of the comments that we've started. Actually, before we go and do that, before we get into the comments, Ram, I've got an actually just playing devil's advocate then. I know you spoke about getting a couple of DMs. If we're and it's a good segue for 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. show. So guys, make sure we're heading over there and we're tuning in at 5 p.m. because that's going to be a decent show. Going to have the return of a certain top G. That's going to be good, man. But Ram, Trent.
Oh no. Oh no, I know where you're going.
Our rumours, big up to shout out to Grizz as well for that. I was just chopping it up with him earlier today. Reports that Liverpool are actually looking now avidly at right backs.
Ah, okay.
Liverpool are looking at right backs to bring into the club. Backs, plural.
Pavard.
Trent in the 6. Done it at under 18 level. Done it at under 21 level. Done it yesterday. Is that something Liverpool are probably maybe they're looking at?
Oh yeah, they're 100% looking at it. They are 100%. I think now they have to really, if they're going to sell 2 DMs and we can't get one, we are going to try and find a way of limiting that gap as much as possible, and that will be Trent. It will 100% be Trent. They are 100% looking at that prospect
because right, technically.
Great.
Even when we look at like a Fabinho, right? Fabinho benefited a lot. Fabinho's never had legs like that ever. Fabinho really benefited from the press that we were able to go and set, right? Yeah. So the fact that the forward line were pressing really well, the midfield were pressing really well, helped Fabinho out a lot. The same way we talk about, that press helping out the back four. Trent's shown, when you look at his stats, he wins the ball back a lot, even from a right back position. His ball recoveries are quite high.
He defends like a midfielder.
On the ball, let's be honest, there's very, very few players that have this ability on the ball. Is that something that Liverpool can look at and be like, actually, I know we've gone with a destroyer as a DM, but we're going to go with more of a ball-playing DM instead. Like Busquets weren't a destroyer of a defensive midfielder. Let's be honest. He wasn't a destroyer, but it enabled Liverpool to keep them and Barca to keep the ball, and of course the system helped them as well. I potentially can see Liverpool bringing in Lavia, but having Trent there as well as an option, and bringing in a right back instead, because the market for right backs seems to be a bit better when you start to dig a bit. So on the surface, you might not have any names, but then you start talking about Kyle Walker-Peters. Kyle Walker looks like he might be leaving City. You might be able to do something there. Probably not, but you have Kimmich as well, can play right back. There's a few right backs out there that can be decent.
Yeah, don't mention that name with me, man. Don't mention that name with me, man.
Get the tissues out, Ram. Get the tissues out, man.
Bro,
sorry to burst the bubble, but it's going to be Gomez.
No, it might be. But Liverpool are interested in looking at right backs as well. And I think if Liverpool still want to go
he's going to be our right back. Did you watch him yesterday?
Yeah, he weren't great though. He played that pass into Jota, but he wasn't great.
I just have the feeling it's going to be Gomez. I really do. And the thing about it as well, I don't really want to talk about the football because I don't want to take away stuff from your show later. But Trent played really well as a DM. Like he pulled off so many recoveries and blocks, and he tracked. But do you see that track? Those 2 tracking runners that he did, where he ran back into the defense and covered. Yeah, like it's natural. It's natural to him.
He defends like a midfielder. I said it before. Really, he defends like a midfielder.
Really good to watch.
Exactly. So that's going to be interesting, man. But look, thanks, K-Mac, for sharing. We're going to get this up on the screen now. These are the stats for Florentino Luis in comparison to.
So this is Fabinho in his prime. Okay, that on the right hand side is last year. So you can see he's kind of dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me drag this. It might make it bigger on your screen. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
You might have to zoom in.
Okay, let me drag it and zoom it. Does that work?
Yeah. Just zoom in a bit more and you can just move it over. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so on this side here, you can see he's kind of dropped off a cliff. Hang on, let me get that away. Okay. Yeah, so you can kind of see he's dropped off a cliff with the percentile on the 2022-23. But this is his prime. And this is kind of like, if you see in the red, that's him. And in the blue is the league average. So you can see that he was He was just above everybody else. He wasn't above Rodri, by the way. Sorry, but he was really good. This is Florentino Luis as now 23 in the red compared to his league. And look at those stats. Like, this guy is the real deal. Seriously, he is the next Rodri. And Rodri's kind of the benchmark of who you want to go for. He does everything that Rodri does. And he's better at passing than him. But, I mean, the numbers just don't lie. Like, if you're looking at passing, pressured passes, deep progressions, turnovers, tackles, interceptions, opposition ball recoveries, that's picking the ball up from another player in the opposition half, which is what Fabinho was so good at, as you can see on these numbers.
But is this compared to other midfielders, or is that just compared to him in his league?
That's compared to his league.
Exactly.
That's how good he is in his league.
Yeah, in his league. But this is still a risk. This is my point. Is that it's how good he is in his league.
Better than Enzo Fernandez's. Because he played with Enzo Fernandez, by the way.
Yes, they did.
He played with him. So, what guy are you looking at? Are you scouting the wrong guy? We could get the guy that Chelsea maybe thought they bought.
Maybe, I don't know. I rate Enzo.
I don't know.
I rate Enzo. So.
But I can understand why they got 120 million euro release clause on him. Absolutely understand. Also, just the thing to note as well is if we're looking at Inacio for the left-hand side, then Inacio and him have played together since the age of 14 for the Portuguese under 15s, under 16s, under 18s, and the 19s, all the way up until the national team. So they've got a really good relationship as well, working together in a team. I just think that if we're looking for someone to replace Fabinho with, we want to be looking at someone who does what Fabinho does. He does. None of the others do. The only person that does what Fabinho does is Kimmich. Sorry. He's the only other player. But he doesn't do any turnovers or deep progressions, Kimmich. That's all. He's not that good in those two areas. But everything else, he's a regen of Fabinho.
So interesting.
That's the guy.
We're gonna have to maybe keep an eye on him then. Thanks for that, man. Thanks for having those stats.
Melissa Reddy's already talked about him, so you don't know. I just don't know. Like,
you never
she's
know.
been right about everything else so far.
Exactly. You never know, man. You never know. I'm just gonna get into some of the comments before we head out, guys. Please make sure we're heading over on the Jay James show. You know what? I should actually let me see if I can actually link it. I'm gonna link it. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna redirect. Right. That's done. So, guys, just stay on after this. It's going to take you on to the next, do you know what I mean? The next segment, we're going to be talking about yesterday's game. And we're going to be chopping that up. So, it's all there, loaded. Jude Jellingham, up to yourself, saying, I'd sell Klopp for 65 million and invest in Zidane. Oh, man. We've got Jay Kismet saying, we haven't seen the best of Diaz, who gets crosses in and gets assists, but he doesn't do that. He hasn't done that. To be fair, he hasn't played a lot of games for how long he's been at the club, you know.
Played 28 league games.
Yeah, it's less than a season.
He doesn't score enough goals for that position, I'm sorry.
I mean, for what Liverpool do usually, but at City, their wingers don't really score goals. So we never know. It just depends on what kind of, how our wide players kind of evolve, because I'm going to talk about it on the next show, but there was a certain winger that played yesterday that didn't look like he was going to get a lot of goals, but was really good, but looked like he might get a lot of assists, and he was playing really, really wide and enabled one of our fullbacks to come inside. So, yeah, interesting. We've got Alexander Delos saying it's not a buyer's market. We've got Andy Ranari saying, end of the day, football is a job. If he wants to go to Saudi for S-load of money, can you blame him? Yeah, I think we discussed that already. Big up to Captain Sal saying Diaz was fundamental in us going for the quad. We were crap before Diaz signed for us in December. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, facts.
Can't deny that.
We got Angel Knight 68 saying JJ Diaz was possibly man of the match in both domestic finals. Grealish and Foden goal and assists are terrible. Yeah, they are, but they don't rely on that. It's all round play. But I agree with that. We've got Beijing Red saying, JJ, be very careful. Chris Angle is going to come for you with that take, bro. Scario's just a phone call away. Listen, I just had an opinion out there. I just put it out there, man, in regards to Diaz. We have RJ saying Klopp not being ruthless. Ox Naby wanted out, ran down their contracts. Milner board overruled Klopp's decision to keep him. Hendo and Fabinho want the Saudi money. Klopp wanted to keep all of them. He did. There have been reports that he's tried to convince Henderson one last time to stay. We've got Honesty saying, I ain't selling Lucho. We are LFC. We should have enough money to rebuild the club. I'm tired of this BS of sell a player to buy others. We ain't a Syria R club. FFS. Ram speaking from the same hymn sheet. We've got Jay Kismet saying, has Melissa Reddy tarnished her legacy by going to Manchester every day as an LFC fan and working for Sky Sports? Interesting. We've got Luke Mac 10 O'Neill. Big up to Luke saying he took on massive pressure when he first came, taking the captaincy. Not easy being at a massive club at such a young age. Feel gutted he's going, if I'm honest, even if he wasn't the best player we've had. Luke 10 saying, going on to say, how good did McConnell and Scanlon look yesterday? We're going to chop that up later on. So, guys, make sure we're heading over there.
We better talk about the guy in his DP right there because he was very good yesterday.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about Mr. Mac 10 himself. So, we've got RJ saying, an idea only. Can we try Matip as a DM and we buy Lavia and get two very good centre-backs, Ram?
Matip did play at the DM for Schalke. But
similar profile to Fabinho.
But the DM I think we need is not what he has, in my opinion.
Jared, I'm sorry, man. I do not want to see Matip anywhere near the first team next season. Not for me.
For me, he's one of our better centre-backs when he's on form. I think you saw it when he was playing. I'm going to talk about it later on. His passes in between the lines. No one does that from the back. The reason why we want to go and get Colwell was because he does it.
Cameroonian Beckenbauer.
Yeah, listen, Matip, when he's on at his best, he just gives us a different dynamic. Everyone else is base. Even Verge has become basic at the back. All he does is just switch.
Been there for a while, mate.
Pardon?
He's just not been there for a while. I don't think he's going to come back.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. James NK saying, I know it was a friendly yesterday, but down our right in behind the space was wide open. We need a destroyer right now. That's in regards to getting the DMs. Going to get into a few more comments. Big up to Bear saying, Florentino Luis has a release clause of 103 million, but Romano says he can go for a lower fee. Crypto saying those youngsters are so meaty compared to other clubs' youngsters. Yeah, potentially.
I mean, they are under 18. They're like, I think they're 18 and 19. So yeah, I didn't expect them to be like, they haven't got a lot of experience. The one I'm looking at is Konsa. I kind of like Konsa, man. He looks all right.
Big up to Prince 11 saying, JJ, Kwanzaa was really good. How do you feel about him? I'm going to let you guys know, but later on at 5 o'clock, people.
Feels sorry for the guy with that second goal.
Yeah, I mean, now
he just got left out to dry.
Bro, we were on stream with Kopish yesterday. I was about to slap Simcast, bro, when I saw that gap. Oh my god.
Pan of Scouse saying we've seen it before. They look great in the Farmers League, then in the Prem they look average or below. That's true. Shadow saying, can you do the same comparison for Amrabat? Bet he's better and less money than Florentino Luis.
That's your boy, bro.
We'll have to go and see that. Victor Ojoma saying, I don't want Trent to play as a 6. I want him as an 8. Okay, interesting.
I want him a double pivot, man.
Callum Wade, man. And Andy's saying we need to rotate between right back and DM. So potentially getting players that can do both roles, man. But look, that's it for today, man. In terms of the transfers. Henderson looking like he's gone, man. So Liverpool got a lot of work to do. In regards to yesterday's game, our first preseason game against Karlsruhe SC, we're going to be chopping that up at 5 p.m. So make sure you're there. The video is going to redirect instantly, so you guys can actually don't have to do anything. Just stay on to the end of the video, and then just when it redirects, just click the like button. Hit it early. Get your early bird tickets before we head out. Thank you so much for Ram, obviously, for jumping on, and K-Mac as well. Just let the people know, K-Mac, where they can find you and what's popping up on the K-Mac channel.
So I'm doing a show at 7:00. I'm going to do a tribute to Henderson and Fabinho. So I'm going to talk about all the best bits, and I'm going to get a couple of people involved on that as well. I think it's been really, really poorly taken by a lot of fans about those two players. And I think they deserve a lot of credit and a lot of respect. And that's why I'm doing the show, to talk about them. But big up for getting us on. And you can check that out at 7 tonight.
There we go. Ram?
Yeah, man. You can find me on the Ram stand. I'm going to be doing some content, probably not some lives. I'm going to do some video uploads in the next couple of days, just about Fabinho, Henderson leaving, and potential transfers that we need to get on. And you could also find me on the Jerry James show, where I'll be chopping up stuff with Jerry whenever need be, man. Yeah, but big up.
There you go. Big up, man. But look, until next time, people, see you back at 5 p.m. sharp. I need all of you guys back in here. We're going to be chopping up, as I said, Liverpool's first preseason game. But until next time, it's been the Jerry James show, and we're out.